In this video, I'm going to be showing you the best methods to getting tons of shekels inside of Grow a Garden with the most efficient methods coming your way. And best of all, I'm going to be showing you the methods that I use that will make you tons and tons of shekels inside of the game. Anyways, let's get right into this video. So the first method that many players already know, and the one that I probably use the most inside of the game, is just to play normally during admin abuse. First off, what on earth is admin abuse? Well, inside of Grow a Garden, there is this event that happens pretty much every single weekend on Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in which you are able to unlock a bunch of amazing stuff. Well, what on earth am I talking about? Pretty much, inside of Grow a Garden, they do something called admin abuse every Saturday inside of the game. And this admin abuse consists of a bunch of restocks like seed restocks and gear shop restocks and so many other amazing stuff. During these restocks, you can unlock some amazing stuff like the best seeds inside of the game, like the Romanescos, the Elder Strawberry, and so many other amazing seeds. Well, seed restocks are cool and all, but how are you supposed to get tons of shekels? It's actually pretty straightforward, and that is whenever you get these particular seeds, especially the most expensive ones, what you want to do is pretty much go over to the gear shop. And whenever you're able to, buy these particular sprinklers that you see on my screen. Why buy sprinklers in particular? Well, inside of the game, with sprinklers, you are actually going to get a specific amount of boost depending on which sprinkler you use. And these boosts include increase in the growth speed, the size of the fruit, and so many other cool stuff. Obviously, having all the sprinklers inside of the game will allow you to unlock the best perks for your fruits, in which if you claim them after they grow to a gigantic size, you can obviously sell them for tons and tons of shekels. The best way of getting gigantic fruit inside of the game, which I used to have a lot of until they all got stolen, is by doing something called the sprinkler method, which is where you put one sprinkler of every type down and you put the seed down in that area. Once you do that, you want to leave the game immediately after so the fruit can grow at that particular spot while you're offline. And the reason why you want to get off is because inside of the game, when your fruits are growing, especially if you're offline, they typically grow a lot bigger than if you just actually sit in the game while the fruits are growing. And that is one of the best methods in order to get gigantic fruits, which obviously you can sell and earn tons and tons of shekels. Now, the next thing you can do inside of the game is something called the egg method. And it is essentially not really a method, but pretty much a very repetitive thing you have to do inside of the game. And that is by going to the egg shop every time there is a restock. Why the egg shop specifically? Well, inside of the game, you are able to trade pets for shekels and trade pets for other fruits inside of the game, using the trading system obviously. And the reason why this egg method works inside of the game is because whenever you buy the best eggs, you have a chance of hatching rare pets like the dragonfly, the red fox, and so many other amazing pets. These pets have tons and tons of value inside of the game. Obviously, if you're hatching and opening these eggs, you have a pretty decent chance of getting those pets if you open enough. So essentially, if you buy a ton of eggs and you just keep on opening them, you will eventually get a rare pet, which you could sell for shekels and earn tons and tons of shekels. That's obviously pretty straightforward, but just a friendly reminder for those who don't know about that, that is a pretty profitable way of earning shekels inside of the game. The next thing you could do is obviously during an admin abuse, you want to have a ton of different plants on your garden. And the reason why you want to have a ton of different plants is because they do something called mutation events during an admin abuse, which obviously, as I mentioned, only happens once a week. But these mutation events allow you to get some mutations that are specifically only available during this admin abuse period. And why do you want specific mutations? Well, inside of the game, these mutations actually increase the value of the plant. Each mutation has a different increase, but the multiplier typically ranges between multiplying by 2 all the way up to 20 times the value of that fruit. Yes, this only works with plants that are inside of the game that are already grown. The best way of making the most of these mutation events is by having those gigantic fruits I mentioned earlier, because what the multipliers do is it multiplies on the base value of the fruit. So let's say your fruit is worth 10,000 shekels alone and you have a 20 times multiplier. Well, pretty much what that means is now with that mutation on that fruit is now worth 200,000 shekels. And obviously, if you have a ton of different mutations, that multiplier will soon arrive you in the billions of shekels because of how many times it's multiplying on top of your multiplier. Now, that may be hard to understand, but pretty much the more shekels you have on your fruit's base value, the higher the value of the fruit will be when there's a lot of mutations. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is try to get gigantic fruits while also playing during admin abuse events, because you'll be able to get tons of mutations and have a lot of value on the fruit. Because obviously having tiny fruit, even with a lot of mutations, will not give it that much value. As you can see by this blueberry, it has like 20 mutations on it, but it's only worth 30 million shekels. So those are some of the best methods I've found inside a grow garden to earning tons of shekels. The next thing you want to do inside of the game, if you still want to earn more shekels, is by playing in a private server. Now, obviously playing in a private server inside of grow garden has no benefits from what I've seen. But the best thing about private servers in this game is that it will protect your garden from being stolen from. Obviously, having your garden with a lot of gigantic fruits will attract a lot of people to your garden because people love seeing big and cool fruits. And obviously, if people see gigantic fruits that are worth a lot, they're going to eventually steal it because that is part of the game. So the best thing you could do to avoid that from happening is by playing in a private server, which inside of Grow Garden is free to purchase. So make sure you do if you do have gigantic fruits, because it will protect your garden. Now, the next way of earning a lot of shekels inside of the game is by trading pets and fruits inside of public servers or inside of trading areas such as the Discord server for this game. Trading fruits and different pets will allow you to earn shekels because obviously some people want certain items and they don't want other items, which you can obviously trade for a higher valued item using item A, for example. Now, let me use the raccoon as an example. As you guys know, a raccoon is worth a lot of shekels inside of the game, but some players have way too many of them. So what they may do is trade a raccoon for 2 or 3 other cheaper pets, which in the game may be of benefits to you to accept because obviously every pet has a specific value. And if you're trading less value for more value of a pet that has pretty high demand, you're able to sell that pet for something greater than what you paid for it, therefore making you a profit in which you can obviously use to trade for shekels, and you will get more shekels from trading. Obviously, I'm not a pro trader inside of Grow Gardens, so I can't really tell you all the necessary steps you'll need to take in order to get really good trades like that. But the best recommendation I can do for you is by telling you to find different trading information inside of the game, like value lists and other such, that will help you learn the value of every pet so you can make the most profit. Remember, the demand on different pets and fruits vary depending on which item it is, so make sure to always be careful when you're trading for certain items, as if the demand is low, even if the value is pretty high, it's likely not too many people will want to trade for that item. But other than that, thanks for watching this video, by the way. Hopefully it helped you out in some shape, way, or form. If you guys have any other tips or suggestions for new players that may be struggling to earn shekels, let me know down below in the comments so we could help them out together. But other than that, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.